10 Minutes with Wild Wayne Cartwright. And today, I'm talking about payment games in college football. Now, it's that time of the year where college football officially kicks off with week 1 tonight. And this entire weekend, there's going to be a lot of teams that you're going to look down the ledger, and there's going to be some lopsided games, and you're going to look at some of the names of the teams that are playing against some others, and you're going to say, wow, why are they really playing those games? And there are HBCUs that are playing up a level, and there are many that are big underdogs. Like, for example, UAPB is playing at Arkansas. My squad is playing at Auburn, so on and so forth. A lot of things get said year after year about why it is that teams choose to go and play these games. And a lot of times people don't understand the fact is that these athletic departments, they struggle to fund themselves. It is what it is. Everybody can't be the big boys like the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Texas, Georgias of the world. The places that have sellout crowds in football every single Saturday that they're at home, and they're even well-traveled from different places of the state and even from the neighboring states, right? So you have to get creative in order to be able to fund your athletic department. So with these payment games, I know a lot of people, they like to look at some of the things of the exhibits. Like they see like how FAMU came up here and played Ohio State. And then how a lot of people laughed at Arkansas Pine Bluff for being beaten 90-6 against South Dakota State, who is a FCS power. And then also we remember when Savannah State had their cup of coffee in D1, major D1 football, and they went on a tour to raise some money, and Oklahoma State took some pity on them to just make it 84-0. And yeah, people, they have these negative feelings of it, because you say it's not a good look. It embarrasses our school. And some of the players that played in these games, though, some of their thoughts of these games kind of go unnoticed, because for some of them, they feel like it's an opportunity to go play in a place that they would have never otherwise been able to. More on that in a moment. And then we hear this a lot about this gentleman right here. This gentleman is Devin Gales. Now, I want to say in no way am I trying to poke fun. So I don't want to hear anybody to think that I'm trying to do as such. But I'm merely bringing up the fact is that this gentleman, he is paralyzed, and he suffered an injury when Southern played at Georgia over a decade ago in football. And a lot of people, they like to use his injury as an example of why teams like on the HBCU level shouldn't be playing up. But one thing that I will say as part of the argument is that injuries like these, they happen pretty much everywhere. And it doesn't matter what the levels of football are. But that's why I wanted to bring that up. And he's doing very well, by the way, as you can see in this picture, because this is recently when he threw out the first pitch at an LSU baseball game. Now, here are some of the payouts, and forgive me for some of the small print, but I wanted to put a lot of this, as much as I could, on the table. So you can see the FCS, which is the championship subdivision, going up against FBS. So for those that don't know, FBS, we're talking about group of fours, which is ACC, Big Ten, SEC, and Big 12, against group of fives, which are Conference USA, Mid-American Conference, Mountain West, American, and you get it. But these are some of the games that are being played, all right? Most notably, you can look at the game that takes place tonight in Colorado with Dakota State. They're traveling to Boulder, and they're going to make $700,000 to play. This game is going to be on ESPN at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. A big opportunity for North Dakota State. And then my school, if you look on the right side, playing at Auburn, we're collecting a check of $525,000. Now, as you look down these lists, people like to wonder, is this money worth it to put our kids out there to play these games? Well, that's very subjective, because you may have guys on these rosters that are FCS players that may not otherwise get a chance to be scouted or may not otherwise have a chance to have big film against upper level opponents. So in the case of my school, Alabama A&M, we have an offensive lineman who is considered to be a draft prospect, Carson Vincent. This will be a chance for him to put some tape on the board going up against an SEC caliber or SEC level defensive line in Auburn. And so you can see that as it goes on down the line. Now, one thing that I want to make this key case for is the other side of the coin that never gets mentioned, where you have FBS Power 4 that are playing FBS Group of 5. Yes, when the Group of 5 does go and play against FBS Power 4 schools, there are payment games that take place. And you can look at the payments. Like, for example, Western Kentucky on Saturday is going to play Alabama and collecting $1.9 million. And Ohio State is being very generous over 2 weeks, where they're going to basically take care of MAC teams Akron and Western Michigan to the sums of $1.8 million apiece. Now, people like to say at the HBCU level that we're playing and we're getting paid and it's not worth it. Well, you look at some of these Group of 5s, it's almost even some of the equivalent. There's depth issues, there's coaching issues, there's certain things like that. But the point is that there is money that is being paid out to not just teams in the HBCU level or the FCS level. It's happening on the Power 5, on the Power 4, playing against Group of 5s people. You see it. And then lastly, people like to say, well, why is the money so much different? Well, that's something that could be answered by somebody else that's on a higher pay grade than me. But the point is that money's being paid from FBS Power 4 to Group of 5. So it's not just us playing money games. Moving forward, I said before that players get a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So, like I mentioned in the case of my school playing at Auburn, also there are some other schools that are going to play at some big places, like you see Grambling playing at Ohio State next year. These are once-in-a-lifetime experiences. And people like to just look at the fact that, oh, well, my school's going to get beaten by a lot of points. Well, if you look at on the other side of the coin, there are players who may not have otherwise been recruited to these places. Maybe they always wanted to play at Auburn. Maybe Grambling players always wanted to get recruited at Ohio State. Well, this is their one chance that they can say years later after their playing days are done that they played games in stadiums like these, that they played against opponents like these. These are lifetime experiences that we never talk about, because we want to make it about what our feelings are instead of what the players' feelings are. And every once in a while, you may have an Appalachian State moment. When in 2007, at that time on the FCS level playing in the Southern Conference, the Appalachian State Mountaineers went into the big house and beat the Michigan Wolverines. That's still considered to be one of the biggest upsets of all time. And then also, not to be left out, HBCUs. Yes, Grambling back in 1985 played Oregon State. Yes, you see it right, Oregon State. They played them in Shreveport in September of 1985 and handed a loss on Oregon State. This is the last time that a HBCU team was able to beat what's considered to be a power team in football. All right, it happened. But some of the things that you will see, we will get back to this. The days where our crowds are going to be playing HBCU against HBCU and FCS against FCS, these days are coming. Some of them are taking place this weekend. But for now, this is a chance to get yourself started in your season. Jackson State there is playing ULM tonight. Southern's going down to McNeese. This is a chance to get themselves acclimated and play and see where they're at, because once they get into conference play, it gets serious. But last but not least, I want to just bring this point up. I know everybody always says, well, at the HBCU level, why are we playing these money games? And I hear the arguments. If our people gave, or if they actually came to the games, or if they actually cared, we wouldn't have to play these money games. Well, that's kind of subjective. And I'll leave that to some people who specialize in athletic director and specialize in finances at a university level, who know more than all of us ever will, because there's inner workings that we may not understand. But I bring these up because these are some of the collectives and some of the giving initiatives that are out there that you can do to give money into athletics, because this money, it's needed to spread amongst your athletics. Sometimes it helps to balance your budget. What I didn't even mention is in college basketball, a lot of HBCU teams, they play tons of road games in the non-conference against power teams because it helps you balance your budget. So the argument is what it is. Your feelings are what they are. Maybe you believe what I'm saying. Maybe you agree. Maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. And football is here, and you're going to watch, and you're going to enjoy it. I know you are. I'm Wild Wayne Cartwright. That's my time. I'll see you next time.